Welcome to TUG, True You Group. We are a worldwide online spiritual church group, and we are joined by thousands of people around the world who want a deeper spiritual experience, but they want it on their own terms. And so that's what we're doing here at TUG, and I invite you to take this message. If it means something to you, share it with your friends and your family. Let's just spread the word. Let's just be a difference and make a difference. I want to talk today about the idea of being one. We are all one. Now, I have to tell you, most of us do not see our lives like that. We see our lives as separate from other people, separate from other ideas, separate from our finances, separate from our bodies, separate from our relationships, and we do not know that we are all one. And why is that? I think it's because we've been taught to be separate from God, and we are not separate from God, but our experience has been that we send stuff out into the vast who knows where, and we send prayers, and we send ideas, and we send petitions, and we don't even know where these prayers go, do we? We've been taught that it's been like some old man sitting on a cloud, or it's into the void or the chasm, and we just feel disconnected. And we feel as if God is sometimes playing favorites. Now, I'm from Texas, and so Southwest Airlines is based in Texas, and some of their flight attendants are hilarious. And I remember seeing a flight attendant who was talking about if the cabin pressure should fall, the mask for the oxygen will drop down. Put your own mask on first, and then help a child or somebody sitting next to you, because you have to save yourself first. And she went on to say, if you're seated with children, first of all, God bless you. And secondly, she said, I want you to look at the child next to you and the other one on the other side and decide which one is going to be the bigger wage earner and save their life first, which is kind of funny. But we think that way too. We just think that God has favorites. That, you know, some people are blessed. They've been born with a silver spoon in their mouth. They didn't have to work for anything. But I can tell you, I have worked for everything that I have. And work, as in the words of Rumi, the Sufi poet, said, work is love made visible. So when we put our hand in, and when we take control of our lives, and we decide to do something and channel that power of God, because we are children of God. And in the Bible, it says, the psalmist David talks about how God says that ye are children of the Most High, ye are God's. And even Jesus in the book of John said, do your own scriptures not tell you that ye are God's and creators and children of the Most High? No. We don't have that experience most of the time. And it's because we think that we are separate from one another. And we are not. And we are not separate from God. Now, I have so many thoughts on this subject, because we are always decreeing a thing. As it says in Job, you shall decree a thing, and it will be done unto you, and light will shine on all your ways. And I like to say, if you say so. If you say so. Because we'll send out a prayer, or we'll send out an idea, and then we negate that. And we just go into this whole thing, well, that's probably never going to happen, and blah, blah, blah. And all of our nonsense comes up. But I'm telling you, we are one with God. And the indigenous peoples of the world knew that. If you go into Australia, they talk about the Aborigines and how they have these stories and legends about singing the world into existence, singing together with the Creator, and the sound that goes out creates. So with that in mind, I'm going to show you a video that our own Cindy Jordan, our own musicologist, wrote this song called We Are One. And in it, she has some chanting from Native Americans, where what they're actually saying is they're talking about God, because God is Yah. So just relax, take a deep breath, and let's enjoy this, okay?
He is the song the river sings. His love shines bright, just like the sun. In His love we live forever. In the Spirit we are one. He is the song the river sings. His love shines bright, just like the sun. In His love we live forever. In the Spirit we are one. He is the song the river sings. His love shines bright, just like the sun. In His love we live forever. In the Spirit we are one.
Wasn't that wonderful? And the sound of the drums is like the heartbeat. It is like the heartbeat of our bodies, the heartbeat of this world. We have a heartbeat, and we are all one. And when we come together in oneness and love, the heartbeat actually synchronizes. There is a group called Heart Math, and they have tracked the resonance and the magnetic power of the heart. And the heart has a resonance and a magnetic power that is 40 times greater of anything in our bodies. Now, I'm reminded of how Moses was drawn on the hill, on the mountain, to a bush that was burning, but it wasn't being burned up. There was a fire in there, and he knew that that was the presence of God, and he wanted to know what was going on. And he walked over and he said, "Tell me who you are." Now, most of you are familiar with this because we are told that it says, "I am that I am. I am that I am." And so there are several lessons here. One is when we invoke the powerful creative name of God, which is I am, we are literally invoking all of that creativity. So you think about this. You say, I am so sick and tired of this. I'm poor. I'm not able to pay my bills. I'm so lonely. I don't trust anyone. I am really suspicious of other people. I'm so angry. I am so frustrated. You are invoking the name of God, and that goes into the creative mind of God. And we live and move and have our being in a creative soup of energy. It actually resonates out. Charles Fillmore, who was the co-founder of Unity, said it this way. Now, I'm using the word matrix. That word was not in the lexicon at that time. But he talks about how we send our thoughts out and we support them with our words and with our emotions. And he said that it hardens into reality the more we speak it into existence and the more we declare it is so. And I always like to think about my grandmother used to make little, ceramic Disney characters, and she had these rubber molds and plastic molds, and she would pour the ceramic liquid into it and let it harden and then peel it off, and there was going to be the perfect representation of what that was. And I think about that. We are pouring our thoughts and our energies into this creative soup, into this utterly responsive mind of God. And I also like to say that when we do this, if we completely believe whatever it is that we say, then my response is, if you say so. Now, if you say, I am so happy, if you say so, you will be. I am so grateful for everything. If you say so, I am sick and tired of this nonsense. If you say so, I am never going to get ahead. If you say so, do you understand we are not separate from God? We are one with the God mind. And you've heard this probably before, but it bears repeating, thinking about we're gods and children of the Most High. If you have 2 dogs that procreate and breed, they get puppies. If you have 2 cats that procreate and breed, they get kittens. And if you have God that procreates itself, what do you get? Gods. We are not separate from the mind of God. Neil Donald Walsh, who wrote Conversations with God, had an epiphany one time around this I am that I am. And I just want to back up a little bit. He had broken his neck, and he had lost his job, and he had lost his home and lost his car, and he was living in public parks and eating out of garbage cans. And he was angry at the world. He was angry at the unfairness of life. He was angry about, why me? Why me? And so he would write these vitriolic letters to people, just like excoriating them. And sometimes he would actually send them. And he had found a relationship and had moved into a little place, so he was off the streets. And as predicted, because he was always angry about this and seeing himself as the eternal victim, if you say so, right? And that relationship went south, and he was back out, just like getting ready to be back out on the streets again. And he had written a hateful letter to someone, and then he decided that who he was really mad at was God. So he wrote a blistering letter to God. And what about this? And what about that? And you say you love us, and da-da-da, and you answer prayer, and, anyhow. It just went right down the list, and he was just exhausted when he finished writing this letter. And he went to put his pencil down, and it wouldn't leave his hand. And he thought, well, that's weird. And so he saw his hand writing on its own accord, sort of. Do you really want answers, or are you just venting? So, well, yeah, I am venting, but yeah, I would love some answers because you have just not been present. And over the next couple of weeks, he transcribed the most fabulous, interesting, unusual, life-affirming information from God, who just answered every question. And he had all this self-pity, and I've spent my whole life, trying to do the right thing and follow you. And God said, really? Really? You think that? And so anyhow, God called him out on a bunch of stuff, but it is a great book. The first book is my favorite, Conversations with God. So fast forward, when he got out of his own stuff and began to teach this and understand it, he went back to that idea of I am that I am, and he realized in looking around that he was not separate from anything. And he saw people who were broken and who were living out on the streets, and he saw people who were flying in Lear jets, and he saw dogs and cats and animals and trees and everything. And he realized that if he just put a comma in that phrase, I am that I am, it changed everything. And so what he did is he said, I am that, comma, I am. I am that beggar on the street. I am. I am that person living in a high-rise. I am. I am that person who is broken and beaten. I am that. I am that person who is healed and loving and helping to heal other people. I am that. I am not separate from everything in my life. I am all of that. Why? Because God is all of that. And I would say, if you say so, right? because we get to decree this thing and we make it so. So I want you to think about what you are decreeing, and if you feel that you are separate from other people. We are living in a world right now of highly charged political opposition, extremes in wealth and poverty. We live in a world that is providing us contrast everywhere we look. And if we decide to look for good and the God in everything, everything shifts. Why? Because we said so. I want to read you something that I had posted on Facebook, and I didn't make this up. Somebody else did it, but it's just positive. And it said, I just woke up one day and decided I don't want to feel like that anymore or ever again. So I changed. I had lots of excuses for not being able to change, but at the end of the day, they were just excuses. Being able to change starts with your decision to change. Now, let's put this into practical application, because I am all about practicality. You know, it's like, oh, these are all fancy words and these are all just fine. But let's just talk about how we do this. How do we become one with God? How do we experience that always saying yes? Because God always says, if you say so. So let's just pretend that you say something like, you know, my husband and I have always wanted to go to Italy and, you know, take a vacation, but I don't ever see that happening. If you say so. But I would ask you to look at the why. Why do you want to go to Italy? Well, I would like to go walk around and see the Roman Colosseums. I would like to see the ruins. I would like to see the fountains. I would like to walk out into the vineyards nearby and the orchards and smell the smells and eat the food and have a wonderful time. Now, do you want to collapse this and see yourself as producing what you say you want? Because it's so simple. It really is. You begin to declare this as if it has already happened. Okay? You declare it and you visualize it from within that experience, because if you say so, right? And so take the words that we were just talking about. I am that. I am that person who goes to Italy and has a great time. I am that person who gets to walk around through the Colosseum and the ancient steps and seeing the fountains and hearing everything. I am that person who has money and time to go on a lovely tour. I am that person who. Now, think about what you want. What do you want? It may be that you're trying to pass the bar exam and become an attorney, or you're trying to pass your medical boards, become a doctor, or you are wanting to move into a house that you own, or have a spouse, or have a child, or have better health. Take that on and go into that and ask yourself, why is this important to me? Well, because I will feel this way and that way, and I will feel happy, and okay, so take that on. And take it on from inside that. I am that person who gets her medical degree. And I get to help other people. And I get to use these healing arts. I am that person who has a brand new car and has freedom and joy and enough money to experience that love within being that. Remember, we are not separate. We're not separate from God. If you see someone who's driving a car that you want, you better, sure as heck, praise that in your mind and say, if that person can drive that car, that means it's available to me too. If that person can write that book, that song, do that seminar presentation, that is available to me because I say so. I am that. I am. I am all of that. I really am. So thank you for joining us at TUG again. Please join us. Please share. Go to our YouTube channel, True You Group TUG. and trueyougroup.com. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We have daily messages 6 days a week, 2 minutes that can change your life, little, snack-sized messages that are so easy to digest, and everyone has 2 minutes, right? I am so grateful to be here for you and with you, and I love and bless you because I am you, and you are me, and we are God, and it's all good. Thanks so much.